Both the Green Bay Packers and Los Angeles Rams are coming off extremely close losses to, well, I guess both NFC North teams, as the Packers did had an amazing second half, but came up just short to the Minnesota Vikings 31-29, while the Rams had a tough loss to Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. They will be facing off against one another in Week 5 as Jordan Love and the Packers fly over to Los Angeles to take on Matt Stafford, Sean McVay, and the Los Angeles Rams. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down the game, the matchups within the game, and at the very end of the video, provide our predictions on who we think is going to win and why. But before we get into that, we do have a goal of getting to 100 new subscribers for these Week 5 prediction video series that we're doing. We've been able to meet that goal over the past couple of weeks thanks to all of the new members to the Tracy Take. So thank you. And if this is your first time here, any help is greatly appreciated. So go ahead and subscribe to the Tracy Take, leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win this game and why. So, Ryan, it was Jordan Love's first game back from his MCL sprain. Definitely got off to a rough start. Probably not the game he would want. But that being said, though, if you're a Packers fan, if the second half, if it's going to be a continuation of the second half for the rest of the season and the type of offense performance and honestly defense performance as well that you can expect, you can probably take that as a positive. On the Rams side as well, it's kind of just a tough continuation of just a tough season that they've had, tough start to the season that they've had with injuries to Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Definitely not the offensive explosion that we were expecting from this team that we saw last year, and rightfully so, especially when you get to maybe some of the best receivers in the league that are down. And so, Ryan, I want to throw it over to you. This is kind of the end of the regular season, preseason, as we've been calling it, as essentially the first 4 weeks in the month of September. We've seen a lot of teams start off slow. So a lot of them don't play in the preseason. But now, kind of through these first 4 weeks, kind of what is your overall report card or just kind of grading of both the Packers and the Los Angeles Rams at this point in the season?
Yeah, I will kind of give the same answer for both, and it's kind of an incomplete. They submitted their papers or their whatever the first 4 weeks without their name on it. And I just say that because there's been so many injuries, it's really hard to get a read of like what they actually are.
Yeah.
Like we don't really know because this Rams offense has played like 3 quarters, not even, I think 2 quarters with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp together.
Yeah.
And
so
I
will say on top of that too, offensive line's been banged up this entire time.
Yeah, exactly. And so like we don't really know what the Rams are. And like the Packers had a good showing down in Brazil. Josh Jacobs, I think, looked good in that second half once they kind of figured out that they were playing on an ice rink. But without Jordan Love, Malik Willis, I mean, I guess they won both of the games that Malik Willis played. However, like you didn't really know like what they were going to do. It's a very big transition from Jordan Love over to Malik Willis. So I would just say like through the first 4 weeks, it's kind of incomplete. It's a long season. This is only the first quarter of the season. And so you still have 3 quarters to go. And I'm really curious to see kind of who comes out ahead in this matchup, because I think this could be a big momentum swing for either team.
Yeah. Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. Jordan Love is clearly the issue for the Packers as he's 0-2 on the season, but Malik Willis is 2-0. And so I'm obviously joking at this point, even though, to be fair, though, Malik Willis did his job. He came in and he won a couple of games, kept the Packers kind of start the season. 2-2 at this point of the season, definitely not that big a deal. Obviously, you'd love to be 4-0 like the Vikings, but you're not 1-3 like the Rams. And with the Rams, I agree with you as well. It's just hard to really tell how effective this team, even too as well on the running side of the ball. I was expecting more from them, but they're 28th right now in total rushing yards, averaging 88.25. But it's kind of hard to blame them though when you have a backup and even sometimes in some spots.
When Tutu Atwell and Demarcus Robinson are the receivers out there, it's like, okay, well, that's not a threat. I can just put 7-8 guys in the box.
Absolutely. And then if you go look at their games, they've actually been down in all of their games for a vast majority of the time. Lions game week 1, Cardinals game, but they were down from the get-go. Niners game, they barely came back and won, but they were down, I think, almost the entire game. Same thing then with the Chicago game as well. So they haven't really had the opportunities to, control the game, control the clock, run the ball, with Kyron Williams, because they just get behind the 8 ball. But just because I think they're really banged up. And so kind of transitioning to this game here. But before we get into that, if you do want to put a couple bucks down on this Packers-Rams game or any of the other Week 5 games, check the link down below in the description box. BetUS has a bunch of great promotions going on right now for first-time players, so you can take a look at this game or any of the other Week 5 games as well. And I would think, too, coming into this game, kind of as we've already mentioned with how banged up the Rams are, that the Packers should be the favorites, even though they are on the road. Also, too, as well, this is going to be essentially a home game for the Packers. It's SoFi is a beacon for away fans, and so I think there's going to be a lot of Packers fans there, and which is just going to add on. I think to me just how tough it's going to be for the Rams team to play against this Packers team, just with how banged up they are. I'm going to be curious to see how they do end up running the ball as well. Even today, Aaron Jones had 93 rushing yards. They had 120 total rushing yards total as a team. And if I look at this Packers defense, they are actually so I take that back. They are ranked 10th overall in rushing yards allowed. And so, but I still say that though, because if they are able to establish somewhat of the run, they may take a little bit of leniency off of them. But that being said, it's just been a really tough time for them to run the ball because they get behind the 8 ball a lot. So they need to get ahead because they don't want to have this turn into a track meet for this Packers team, who there's just the way Matt LaFleur has this offense set up and how just great they are moving the ball and creating confusion on the defensive side of the ball. I think it's going to be tough for the Rams to win this game in a track meet. They're just not set up for that. Even though even the Packers are probably going to be without Christian Watson, who luckily looks like it's just an ankle injury. It's not a knee injury, but he missed the majority of the game. So hopefully it's just a high ankle sprain and he just misses a couple weeks.
Yeah, and that's me, I think, kind of getting into like the matchup here. The Rams really want to slow this game down. They want to get after Jordan Love. They want to be physical and win in the trenches. But just kind of looking at what the Packers are able to do against the Vikings and kind of in past matchups, they've pretty much controlled the line of scrimmage, or at least been very competitive at the line of scrimmage in all of their matchups. And so I think it's going to be really interesting to see like what the Rams can throw at the Packers. Maybe they can give them a different look that they haven't quite seen yet. But right now I'm leaning towards the Packers winning pretty handily in the trenches on both sides of the ball. And I think that's just going to be the start of the issues for the Rams. And I guess just progressing right into predictions, I think the Packers are, as banged up as the Packers are, I still think they're the healthier team coming into this matchup. And I think they'll be the better team on Sunday.
I just think it's going to be a little too much, especially just with Matt LaFleur on that offense. And to be fair, I'm fairly confident Matt LaFleur came from Sean McVay also. So they're very similar type of offense, and they're just going to be a little bit more. I think just more effective, just with their overall capabilities. Just because they just have an abundance amount of guys, I think that can help and contribute. Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Tucker Kraft, Romeo Dobbs, all those guys had 4 catches or more. Josh Jacobs also still in the backfield as well. He had 4 catches. I think he can even be a little bit more of an effective runner. Also, they just got really behind the 8 ball today. The Packers have still the second-rate rushing offense coming into this game as well. So let me actually make sure that is correct there. Yeah, it is. So I think it's going to be just a tough overall matchup for the Rams, just because they just don't have their star players, the things that really kind of open up this offense, and Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Yeah,
that's without them, they're very handicapped. I think which plays right into the Packers' hands, where they're going to have to kind of keep things short over the middle, and the Packers are going to be able to run some blitzes and get after Matt Stafford and not give him enough time to let Tutu Atwell and Demarcus Robinson and those guys get open. So we're both taking the Packers in this matchup. Let's go ahead. We'll wrap it up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. It is the best way to help out the channel. While you're at it, go ahead and leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead. Will it be the Green Bay Packers? Will it be the Los Angeles Rams? Other than that, we will see you guys next time.